but yeah, like you were saying, sorry, like I was saying, it gets only so much, and this kind of brings me on to the next topic I kind of want to talk to you about, which was obviously the mental health side of things. So
Mm.
you struggle with mental health
Yeah.
recently, currently, everything like that. And I think from my perspective, from someone who don't necessarily, I don't deal with, I'm counting myself my lucky stars. I don't deal with mental health. I don't suffer from mental health. Yes, I
Mm.
have issues, but they're my
Yeah.
issues to deal with, and only my issues alone. Whereas people out there, like I don't deal with. I'm with someone who struggles with mental health. I know people who struggle with mental health, including yourself,
Mm.
as well as people who are in my family and my very close friends who are classed as as my family as well. They and I've had I used to work. I've worked with a couple of people who've fortunately taken their own lives because of mental health. My question to you is, how do you cope with them struggles on a daily, or used to, on a daily basis? Because I think you're not, from what I can see, just through
Mm.
the talking now and the streams that you've done and the few conversations we've had here and there on Discord, you don't suffer from the mental health as much as you used to a year and a half ago. So
Oh yeah,
what
absolutely.
happened in them tough times with struggling with mental health, and what helped change the course of your mental health, if that makes sense?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's it's one of those things that affected me a lot more than I realized when I was younger. I mean, the key issue with younger is when I was diagnosed with ME, or as most people know it as chronic fatigue syndrome. Which it's like a sister illness to fibro. It's like the in the same sort of area, but there's differences. It that but someone's singing outside.
I wondered what that was.
My headphones on, I could hear it. But
It
I
trust me,
mean,
it did sound like singing to me. I'll be honest, but anyway, that's just.
I hope it was. Yeah, that'd be a lesson to you. No, but so yeah, the when I was diagnosed with that when I was younger, I was still in my first or second year at high school, and it completely obliterated my high school education. Which you know, I was bullied as well, and on top of that, which was lots of fun. Um, so that I look back now and I realize just how much that affected me, and there was always that worry of, well, I've got no education. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? What am I gonna do in my life? And yada yada yada. I mean, most of the things that a lot of teenagers worry about anyway. Um, but I always had a lot of supports from my immediate family and my friends at the time. So that definitely helped in that regard. But obviously, as I got older, there was still some issues that I just hadn't dealt with. And I think as cliched as it might sound, I think the most important thing was just talking to people and just admitting, like, I don't think I'm doing very well. Um, and obviously, reasons I can't go into, but last year was probably the worst year of my life. I think easily. Um, I'm not ashamed to admit or anything, but there were a couple of times last year where I considered ending my own life. Just taking my own life because it's just like I just cannot fucking deal with this. I can't do this anymore. Like it was. I think what what helped. One of my biggest weaknesses is how stubborn I am. But I think when it comes to this, it was actually a strength because obviously it wasn't just that. Like my stubbornness, like when I put my head down, like no, I'm not letting this win, and that helped. But I had an enormous amount of support from people I really care about that mean a hell of a lot to me last year, and that's one of the reasons I think why I was able to push through. But also I did I ended up doing talking therapies. So the service I was on was Silver Cloud, and no, I can't remember. I can't remember the reason. I ended up I had to go to the doctors for some reason. I wasn't feeling too good, but I thought, I should get a checkup anyway. And talking to the doctor, and he was like, okay, and we're having a little chat. He's like, I'm going to book you in for a blood test because you haven't had one for a while. It'd be good to do that. I'm like, oh, great, because I hate blood tests. I'm like, fine, yeah. And he's like, right, so you've got high anxiety, and I'm going to sign you up to this right now. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, fuck, okay, okay. And yeah, signed me up to put me in contact with Silver Cloud. Had an online talking session with someone that worked there. Really good conversation. They were really nice, really chill. And then yeah, I kind of just laid out everything. And then they signed me up to a course. And basically, what it was because there were two options. You could either do an online course where you could log on when you wanted to, when you had time, and do this, and that. And the other one was like, oh, you can do like group sessions. I was like, absolutely not, because I'm busy enough as it is. And I do group sessions if it was in person, but group sessions online, like it's bad enough when you've got like work meetings online and you just say, yeah, I can't really go anywhere. And I much prefer stuff like in person. I was like, no, I'll just, considering how busy things were and everything that was going on, I didn't really want to, because type of stuff I was going through, I didn't really want to talk to other people, but talk to other people about it, if that makes sense. It's like, reasons I was trying to keep it private and just amongst people that knew. So yeah, I took the online course, and it was essentially you logged on when you could. They set you like goals, it's like make sure you get X amount done by this date. It's like, cool, I can do that. So if I had like work, if I'd finished all my work, and it was quite a slow work day, then I was like, I'm going to log on. I'm just going to do some of this for a bit. And it kind of taught me various things like how to, when you're thinking about a problem, or if there's something on your mind, instead of letting it spiral, you should go, because, it's really easy to go, oh yeah, but then it could get worse like this, and then this, and if that happens. And it basically taught me how, like, don't do that. It's like, obviously let it in, but then just process it like properly and not just spiral. And also, like, if it's not an immediate problem, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Okay, I'll do that. And then there was some even got me to do like some breathing exercises. I'm like, okay, let's see how good these work. And they worked surprisingly well. Like, just taking 5 minutes of your time just to turn off all sound, keep these on just because loud people outside, but taking 5 minutes and just closing your eyes and just keeping your breathing regulated, especially when I was getting stressed, worked up, or annoyed about something, really helped. But there's one in particular that really stuck with me. I think the way it's framed to paint a picture in your head is kind of genius. But it's basically another one. It's like you close your eyes, and you imagine you're sat by like a riverbank, or like in like a park or something, sat on the bench. And if you look to the left, you've got the stream. It's coming down, and then to the right it goes for a little bit, and then it goes around, it bends around a corner. And listen to it, I'm going, okay, strange. And then it's like, right, like picture something that's really making you anxious, or you're really worried about, like something really that you think is really bad, blah 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 blah. Like, picture that, okay. And they go, picture it's on the far left. It's coming into view now. Like, if you look to the left, you can see it. I'm like, okay. As you follow it. When it gets to here, that's when you like, that's obviously it's prevalent. It's really in your mind at this point. And it's like, then you can process this and you can think about it, blah 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 blah. But only for a split second, because it's eventually it's going to move, and it's going, and then you watch it go around the corner, and then it's gone. It's like, this won't work. oh, this works. So
Wow,
this actually really works.
that's pretty impressive, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a really it was a, I you know it's one of those things that you just that's never going to work for me. Um, but yeah, it's just a method that I've even now I still get worked up about stuff. But that's one of the methods that absolutely helps me now. But yeah, it was just doing stuff like that. I think the most the first step is always to admit that you need help. Um, I mean, my doctor was the one that said you need help. Someone was like, sign up for this, bitch. But after that, I think it was, I speaking to people, I was like, yeah, I think I need this. And it is, again, it sounds like such a cliche, but it's really difficult for some people to admit that they do need help, especially people that grow up, in like my generation as well. In the mid 90s, it's that mentality of oh man up, that kind of thing. And it's one thing that I think is particularly good now is that it's so heavily encouraged for everyone to just talk about and be reach out and seek help, because the worst thing you can do, as I can attest, is you just keep it all bottled up, because that only lasts for so long. You keep adding like water into this bottle, it's going to start to overflow, and then you get one like innocuous thing that can set you off. It's like it can be the most mundane thing, that you drop a piece of food on the floor, and it's like someone's dropped like an Alka-Seltzer or like a Mentos into a Coke bottle, and it's still going to go up everywhere. And it's not even the thing that was causing the initial stress, but because you like this all the time, basically, you keep it all bottled up, and like I said, it's just all going to just pop out. So yeah, I mean, I still have the occasional wobble where I'll get really annoyed and stressed about something. And I never went into that the course thinking, well, this is going to solve everything, because that's not how it works. I know it's not how it works, but I know that it's definitely helped me deal with certain things. And while I will still get stressed or annoyed about stuff, or even anxious sometimes, I'm like leap years better than how I was beforehand, especially like before COVID. Like I don't like. It's one of those things that I look back now and like, Jesus Christ, I was borderline a mess. Uh, it sounds strange, but it's like you look back and like, no, I was doing it all right. Like, you look back at instances and you go, nope, not at all. That was really bad. I could have dealt with that better. But yeah, again, the most important thing is just to reach out and talk to someone. There's no you're not a lesser person for you're not a lesser person or weak or less, or like the worst one with like men, like you're not less of a man for, so you know what, I'm not doing too good. I feel directionless, and uh I don't know what to do with my life. There's absolutely no nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed of, because it it affects far more people than we will realize. And again, like, yeah, like you can't control your brain. Like if there's if it's making you sad, hey, talk to someone, because you can work on ways to basically tell it to fuck off, which is what I do, which is what I've helped other people do as well. It's like, your brain is saying this, prove it wrong. Like, yeah, fuck that brain. Fuck it.
I think you're 100% right.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, no, not again.
Might be me.
As I think one of the key reasons I did want to get you onto this was the mental health side of things, because I know what you struggled with, I know what you dealt with in the past.
Yeah.
In the past, like I say, past as much time as I've known you, with deep conversations, especially with what happened obviously last year, which again we won't go into. For those who are watching this, once it goes live, there will be links down below in regards to dealing with mental health, with certain websites you can go to, people you can speak to. There's plenty of people out there, and if you don't speak to them, speak to anyone of your friends, family, next door neighbour, stranger on the street, anyone. Just vent out your frustrations, because there's no point keeping them cooped up away, as you mentioned,
Mm.
you put a Mentos in a Coke bottle, don't put the lid on, let it go.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Exactly. And if you think maybe one of your friends is struggling, just ask them how they're doing. Like you don't have to make it like a big deal and say like, oh, well, I'm worried about you. Just ask them if they're all right. Because there's been friends of mine that even recently I could tell something's wrong and they're trying to put on a brave face. I'm like, are you okay? No. So let's go talk about it. No, it's just important because it's very easy to get down into that spiral. It can be really easy. So it descends a lot quicker than people realize. That's for sure.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, if you talk to people about it, it's a lot easier to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
If it's spoken about, you know, as
Yeah.
people keep on saying, you're not alone in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah.
Whatever
Exactly.
you're going through, someone's going through it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying what you went through wasn't bad.
Oh no.
There was it's in your eyes, it was horrific, and from what you were telling me, it was awful.
Yeah.
But guaranteed, someone out there is 10 times worse off.
Oh yeah, I guarantee.
And borderline closer to. I want to try and put it in such a polite way, but I don't think I can. Into killing themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not something we want to see. It's not something we want to hear about. It's not great. I mean, men's. We've got to elaborate on it because it's something that I kind of want to just kind of put forward and direct forward. So, men's suicide's gone up massively in the past 5 to 6, 7 years plus because we're not spoken about anymore. And I know a few people who struggle with it, and they cannot thank. They do. Most of the people go to Andy's Men's Club, and they're exceptional from what I've heard. But there's other people who go to other places like yourself. You went to. Excuse me. You went to, what was it called again? Sorry.
Silver Cloud.
Silver Cloud. And other people just speak to and just talk amongst each other, and people feel better about it. People just go to they'll meet up with a group of 5 at the pub, and just talk about it, and after it they'll feel much better about it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some people who are alone and don't want to talk about it, and they need to.
Yeah, like even just talking about like it can, it won't solve the issue, but just talking about it to someone, it really does. It always made me feel better. Like once I realized what was going on, because it's you finally like air it essentially. You get it out there. It's like once you actually vocalize it, like it does feel better to talk about it. Obviously, then the next steps come afterwards, but that initial jump, like it's not say satisfying is not the right word. It's relieving. And when you finally talk to them, you go, oh yeah, that wasn't what was I doing? Like why did I keep it cooped up for so long? And then, like I said, obviously you get the next steps afterwards to help you to deal with the issue or issues further. But that initial step is so vitally important, and you can't. But the problem is that obviously you can't force anyone into it either. That's the thing.
Let's do it.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not go more mobbies again. You're in a good place now, which is great. It's good to hear that you are talking about it to people regularly. It's good to see you're in a much better place than you are now.